Welcome back to the AktiriMagic channel. Today we're talking about ninjas. Because I want to talk about ninjas. These dudes crazy. Girls also crazy. Yeah, anyway, it's not nice to say out loud, Steven. You're right. But I'm inspired today. Oh, before we get too far into the video, I want to let you know we are sponsored today by MTG On Command. They have a deck box, and we'll talk about them more at the end of the video. You can put your commander in a little tray, goes right there in the front. Super cool. Anyway, so let's get into it. So I wanted to talk about ninjas because we have new ninjas coming out. So let's talk about these beautiful new ninjas. Okay, so Satoru Umezawa and Thousand-Faced Shadow. So Thousand-Faced Shadow isn't officially spoiled. It's one of those blurry images that somebody found online, but I did find it on the Commander's Quarters. That guy has got some great videos. If you haven't seen Commander Quarters, go find him. He's awesome. But we also have Satoru Umezawa, who is confirmed. He has a 3-drop 2/4, and he says whenever you activate a ninjutsu ability, look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of them in your hand, and the rest in the bottom of your library in any order. This ability only triggers once each turn. Each creature card in your hand has ninjutsu 4. Double black and 2 generic, and you can ninja in any creature you want. Now, this is only the take that I went with it. Okay, and I started to notice something. Okay, well, let's look at Thousand-Faced Shadow. When he enters battlefield from your hand, if it's an attacking creature, create a token copy of another target attacking creature. The token enters battlefield tapped and attacking. So any kind of creature that you want to attack or you want to, enter the battlefield from your hand, it's pretty sweet. Or that you already have on the battlefield, it's pretty sweet. So if you happen to have an acidic slime attacking, Thousand-Faced Shadow will make you a copy of acidic slime, blow something up, and then you go swinging. Pretty sweet. Okay, but I also noticed something about all of these lovely ninjas. If you look at them closely, they all have relatively low power, if you notice. So Throat Slitter is a 2/2, Walker of Secret Ways is a 1/2, Mistblade Shinobi 1/1. Then we have Ninja the Deep Hours is a 2/2, Sakashima Student is a 0/0, but it can become bigger. Yuriko the Tiger Shadow is a 1/3. Ooh, Yuriko, we're going to come back to her in a second. And then I also noticed that all of the creatures that you usually bounce back to your hand in a ninja deck, so, like Fairy Seer, Siren Storm Tamer, Baleful Strix, they also have low power too. And if you know anything about me as a player, you will know that I am an absolute spaz for Alesha. So I'm like, wait a minute, Alesha's not in the right colors at all. She's just like so not in the right colors. But she puts any of the previous ninjas or ninja enablers into play tapped and attacking for either hybrid black white or hybrid black white, whatever she does. If you pay the hybrid black white, if you do, return target creature card with power 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped and attacking. So that means that we can use Alesha to go ninja in Baleful Strix, Siren Storm Tamer, or Yuriko, or Sakashima Student, or Ninja the Deep Hours, or any of these, okay? And then now, if they're tapped and attacking with Alesha, alongside Alesha. Now, additionally, we can also use any of the ninjutsu abilities on any of the creatures that are tapped and attacking. So that's all the way even past combat damage. There is a little bit left of that combat step after combat damage, before the end of combat, that these creatures are still considered attacking. So even after damage is dealt, you can use your ninjutsu ability. So if you want something big to do its damage, and then you want to get a Mistblade Shinobi into play rather than something really big staying on the board for maybe a board wipe, you can let that 10 damage go through from your big creature, and then Mistblade Shinobi after combat damage, but before the end of combat, and Mistblade Shinobi will put that attacking creature back into your hand after combat damage. So now Mistblade Shinobi will be around for the board wipe, and your big, beautiful creature, your hunky hunk, will not. Cool trick. Now, let's keep going. So I wanted to play Alesha. And I'm like, well, how am I going to play Alesha with any kind of regularity at all, Steven? And especially whenever I'm already only in blue-black. Why am I going to try and get red, black, white into the deck? Well, I was like, Steven, that's kind of cray-cray. It's like Jim Carrey kind of cray-cray. I love you, Jim Carrey, but you went a little bit off the deep end. Anyway, so I was thinking, I need to find Alesha. How do I do that? Well, turns out Sisay, Weatherlight Captain, does just that. For a white and 2 generic, she is a 2/2 human soldier. It says Sisay Weatherlight Captain gets +1/+1 for each other color among legendary permanents you control. Search your library, Warburg. Search your library for a legendary permanent card with converted mana cost less than Sisay's power. Put that card on the battlefield and then shuffle your library. So if there's no other legendaries out there and she's only a 2/2, she can only search up a converted mana cost of 1 for 5 mana. Well, if you have more legendaries in play, she gets +1/+1 for each color among those legendaries. So if we have Oath and Nissa, it's going to look at the top 3 cards of our library, get us a land, creature, or planeswalker. Sweet. It helps us mana fix. It's any land, by the way. It's not just basics. Zergo Bellstriker. He's got that dash ability, which is relevant, okay? So you can dash in Zergo Bellstriker, and then once he's not blocked, bounce Zergo Bellstriker, which he was going to get bounced anyway, but you got to go attacking with Zergo with haste. Well, once he's not blocked, you can then bounce Zergo back to your hand with a ninjutsu ability, and now Zergo's in your hand and the big scary ninja's in play. Similarly, Hitaki War's Wage can be animated with Alesha, and it's a real hurtin' stacksy kind of thing for a lot of people who are playing a bunch of those mana rocks. So really, really like him in this. Another kind of taxi piece is Gaddock Teague, also can be animated with Alesha, and he says non-creature spells with converted mana cost 4 or greater can't be cast. Non-creature spells with X in their mana costs can't be cast. This dude's disgusting. He makes all of those really big plays in Commander, like all those non-creature plays, really hard to do until you get rid of them. That's pretty much every board wipe, by the way. Almost every board wipe is 4 mana or greater. Unless it's Toxic Deluge. That's like 1 out of the, 100 of board wipes. He's awesome. Thrasios Triton Hero is a green-blue, and it says 1/3. Pay 4, scry, then reveal the top card of your library. If it's land, put it on the battlefield tapped. Otherwise, draw a card. I mean, there's just no reason that he can't be played in this deck. I mean, if we're going to say budget is no limit. Oh, look, Ragavan, you happen to also be a legendary that will add to the power of Alesha. Oh, and help us get that Warburg mana if you hit somebody. Yes, please. You also happen to have dash, just like Zergo Bellstringer, giving us that haste, that surprise ninjutsu attack for 4 mana. You can play dash out Zergo and then bounce it with a Ninja of the Deep Powers, draw that card, get that value, smack somebody upside the head. It's good. For 6 mana, you can do all of our Satoru. Satoru will let you, for 6, you dash out a creature, then Satoru will let you ninja whatever you want into play. Really cool. All right, so let's keep going. All right, so Steven, that's crazy. I know. Bear with me, friends. It gets worse. I just love Alesha so much. She's so good. I love her. Anyway, but thinking about this, all right, so we talked about a little bit about combat tricks, okay? So with Ninja of the Deep Powers, that ninjutsu, we can bounce something in any part of the combat step. So it's interesting to note something like another new card that is doing some disgusting things in the Commander format, and that is Olivia Crimson Bride. Olivia Crimson Bride is a 1 red, 1 black, 4 generic, 3/4 flying haste. It says whenever she attacks, return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield, tapped and attacking. It gains when you don't control a legendary vampire, exile this creature. So in response to them Path to exiling Olivia, Well, that tapped and attacking creature, you're going to lose it. It's going to get exiled because Olivia's no longer in play. Well, you can bounce it with... you can bounce it before she goes with Ninja the Deep Hours and Misplayed Shinobi. It's so silly. Oh, ninjutsu. But ninjutsu can also do great things. Satoru, you're going to do disgusting things in Commander. It can also ninjutsu into play something like Avacyn, Angel of Hope, which, for the record, Avacyn, Angel of Hope can be reanimated with Olivia. Be sweet. And then, just to top it all off, we have Yuriko, the Tiger's Shadow. Well, she has Commander Ninjutsu. Okay, right. Put this card in the battlefield from your hand or the command zone, tapped and attacking for 2. Okay, cool. Whatever a ninja you control deals combat damage to a player, reveal the top card of your library and put that card into your hand. Each opponent loses life equal to that card's converted mana cost. Yes, please. So you notice that we have, Avacyn, Angel of Hope. She's a mild 8 mana, so we can mildly shoot everybody for 8 damage or 8 life loss with Avacyn on top. But how on earth would we possibly get Avacyn on top for our Yuriko, the Tiger Shadow trigger? I'm glad you asked. We'll talk about that here in a second, but I'm sorry. Let's talk about just putting creatures in the graveyards, buried alive and entombed, so we can reanimate them. That's fantastic, especially with Olivia. Then we've got just straight up tutors. So Worldly Tutor and Vampiric Tutor can both, at instant speed, put Avacyn, Angel of Hope, on top of our library for our Yuriko, the Tiger's Shadow trigger, smashing and crushing people's faces. Not only that, but if you want to use Vampiric Tutor to put on top, say, Dig Through Time, rather than putting Avacyn on top, that's fantastic. But we have so many ways of getting Avacyn in play that are just kind of all over the place. They're all bouncy bounce, but we're so low to the ground. We're so, like, most of the deck is so just tight. It's so, I don't know, it's not perfect. It's certainly not perfect. It needs a lot of work. But this is such a fun idea, and I just wanted to share it with you. So let's look at this. We got Entomb to put creatures or any card in our graveyard. So it might be a good idea to run on Burial Rites with Entomb. Buried Alive will put any 3 creature cards from our library into our graveyard. Works great for Alesha. Works great for Olivia. Both of these are great for both of our Reanimator commanders. And then we also have ways of just straight up reanimating from our graveyard. Victimize, Animate Dead, Reanimate, Victimize, taking advantage of all those small creatures we played earlier in the game. Sack a creature, put 2 creature cards from our graveyard back into play. Fantastic. Animate Dead is enchant creature in a graveyard, puts it back into play. Reanimate, pay life equal to casting costs, and put it back into play. Fantastic. Then we also have a couple answers. These are a light smattering. Probably the wrong answers, but I liked them anyway. Drown in the Loch, blue-black, says counter target spell with converted mana cost less than or equal to the number of cards in its controller's graveyard. Destroy target creature with converted mana cost less than or equal to the number of cards in its controller's graveyard. So the longer the game goes on, the better Drown in the Loch is. However, I included it in this list because it's already sharing so many of the mana-based colors with our ninjas. Then we have Swan Song for 1 blue. You can counter target enchantment, instant, or sorcery spell. Fantastic. Get rid of that, Wrath of God or Toxic Deluge. They get a little 2/2. Fantastic. Teferi's Protection is just the business. For a white and 2 generic. Until your next turn, your life total can't change, and you have protection from everything. All permanents you control phase out. Exile Teferi's Protection. Oh, so good. So good. All right, then let's go talk combos. Satoru can just ninjutsu Avacyn into play. Then Olivia can just reanimate Avacyn from the graveyard. And then Mistblade Shinobi can bounce Avacyn Angel of Hope whenever we want. So if we happen to ninjutsu Avacyn into play, she's tapped and attacking and not blocked, but they go to Path to Exile her, again, you can Mistblade Shinobi and bounce her back to your hand. The combat step is the ninja playground. Take advantage of it. All right, thank you so much for coming out. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. There is, I wanted to let you know, there is a link in the description for MTG On Command's deck boxes. Okay, so we got 10% off using the code at checkout, AktiriMagic, one word, AktiriMagic, and you can find just how it's spelled and everything in the description, plus a link to their webpage. Really cool. I've been playing with one of these for about a week and a half, 2 weeks now, and I really enjoy them. I'm actually starting to favor the one where it's just like it holds a top loader here in the middle. I really enjoy it. There's actually a whole video, which I will also link in the description, kind of reviewing these deck boxes. I actually have one more deck box, not here, that has got a chip in the corner, but it still functions perfectly well, holds my cards without damaging them, and I really enjoy it. Just did a giveaway. We have yet to see which one Jeremy059 is going to choose, blue or black. I'm hoping to see what he decides upon. But anyway, thank you so much for coming out. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe again, and check out the link in the description to get your own copy of their deck box. I love you guys. Thank you so much for coming out and making this just such an awesome, fun time. Deuces. My button.